influence gender anyway. Just
Well, it worked for you.
Apparently. Need an agenda, guys?
I want to clarify something about the vice chair.
Okay.
And I thought it was Jessica at this point. Okay. And on my minutes here, it has Steve Topaz on.
So it would have been until we elected her at the last meeting.
I got it. Okay. Clarify.
Yeah.
Wednesday, January 6th, 2022, and the time is 6 p.m. And we're here for Urban Renewal Agency. Your chairman, Doug Martin. And at this time we'll have roll call. And I'll start with immediately to my right and we'll move across. And can you introduce yourself and your position on the board?
Steve Topaz. I guess I'm one of the old people.
That's good enough for me.
Ritual Mayor of St. Helens.
Just, oh,
No, Jessica.
okay, Jessica Chilton, and I'm the vice chair.
Patrick Berkeley, city councilor.
And now we'll move to the staff. And could staff introduce themselves and tell us what capacity you serve?
I can start. I'm Jenny Dimshow, Community Development Project Manager.
I'm Lisa Scholl. I'm Deputy City Recorder and I'm taking minutes.
I'm John Walsh, the Urban Renewal Agency Director. And we are in a Urban Renewal Agency meeting, so your city councilor hat comes off, turns around, goes back down, and then your Urban Renewal.
And who?
That's why I said vice chair. I
And
knew
Lisa,
that.
who do we have aboard on Zoom? Anyone?
There is currently no one.
Okay. And others present, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Stephen Toskey, Planning Commissioner and citizen of St. Helens.
Nice, thank you.
Jennifer Pugsley, Planning Commissioner and owner of 50 Plaza Square.
Thank you.
Jane Garcia, owner of 50 Plaza Square.
Thank you.
Allie Hazenkamp, citizen. I pay them rent at 50 Plaza Square.
Corey Engelhardt, just resident of St. Helens.
Wonderful. Welcome aboard. Okay, let's move on to, we've gone through roll call and I think I did mention the time that we started the meeting at 6 o'clock. Consent agenda for approval are draft minutes dated May 5th, 2021. Did everyone have an opportunity to read over the minutes?
They should be January 5th, 2022. Are you looking at the right agenda? I can make this,
Looking at my agenda here.
let me make this bigger, Doug, and you can just, can you see that okay? There's the
Okay,
agenda.
yeah, I'll go,
that work?
I'll go by that then, because I got two drafts in front of me and it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy going back and forth. Okay, so, here we are. Draft minutes dated January 5th, 2022. Did everyone have an opportunity to read over those?
To make a motion, I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda for approval, minutes dated January 5th, 2022.
Do I hear a second? It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes dated January 5th, 2022. All those in favor signify by saying yay.
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 Yay. Yay. And hearing none opposed. Okay, that motion passed. So we'll move on to discussion action items. Public comment, thank you. Public comment, so anyone who are visitors have anything to add at all at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to discussion action items. intergovernmental agreement between the city council and urban renewal agency. And that over to John, I believe, or Jan Dimshow.
I'll take it.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So the action item for tonight is our urban renewal agency meeting, and these meetings, because they're so infrequent, I don't rhythm or cadence to them quite yet. We'll get there when there's more money, more projects, and there's more action items kind of happening. But the action du jour here is an intergovernmental agreement between the city council and urban renewal agency. And later in your council meeting, you're gonna have the exact same thing with the roles reversed. So this is, seems, it is what it is. I mean, and what this does is, and you've seen this before at the council sessions, is the loan with special public works fund to the state, the $14.6 million that we're taking out to do the Riverwalk project, the streets, utilities, and portions of the Riverwalk project. And basically, their state is securing their interest in these agencies by entering into this agreement. So there's a whole lot of value in going through this in detail. It's mostly a boilerplate document. The council has looked at it. They don't have issues with it.
We have 16 pages. A document there.
There's 16 pages of document.
And will that be made available to the public and especially our visitors of concern at some time?
It is. It's both in the urban renewal and in the city council. Partly posted and noticed, and protocols are in place.
So the long and the short of it is that the loan people want to know that we're backing it with a financial mechanism.
Yeah, zoom out a little bit. The urban renewal agency will have the capacity to secure $62 million in its life cycle. And we're at this is our first transaction. So, our projections, we're comfortable taking this kind of money out of the agency because we know we can service the debt. The way that works, the way urban renewal works, is that debt finance, right? So we accelerate the development by taking loans out to make improvements now to attract development that could increase the tax base. It's rather than save up for it over the years and then do it afterwards. It's the way the program is designed to work. And doesn't mean we can't do other projects just cash financed, but the way this is set up is to be a debt financed.
The life cycle?
25 years.
20.
20
years.
Yes.
20?
Right here.
How we said 25?
It's not actually tied to a date certain, it's tied to an
I thought we were talking about different things.
No, when he referred to the life cycle, I wanted to make sure that we were.
Oh, the life cycle of the
Not
loan?
the loan. Are you talking about
Yeah.
urban renewal or the loan?
There you go, yeah.
You said that we would generate a certain dollar amount in a life cycle. What life cycle are you referring to?
I was referring to the life cycle of the agency.
Okay,
$62 million. This is one loan of many loans that'll happen.
right. That's what I was getting at, was just
Sorry
trying to
for
clarify.
being more clear.
The loan is a 20-year, I just wanted to clarify. I was responding, I thought you were asking a different question.
Renewal is adopted to 25 or the life or the maximum index.
Yes, of 62 million.
Indoor.
Exhibit B gives us a breakdown of the loan amounts and when they're due and the life term of that 20 years.
So do we need to make a motion on this?
Yes,
Yes, we
it's a
do.
motion for signature for the chair, the urban renewal chair, which is Doug, to sign and authorize the IGA.
Motion to authorize the signature of Doug with the IGA with the city of St. Helens City Council to pay off the loan amount. Second.
Been motioned and seconded to pay off the loan amount. And we'll go by individuals this time.
Discussion,
Second,
comment,
sorry.
comment. The teacher in me couldn't pass this by yesterday. If you look in section.
What did you find?
If you look in section 3, no, as a word, I don't think I have ever encountered it in my life.
Is it estoppel?
Section 3, estoppel.
Yeah, I learned that too.
And I looked up estoppel, but I want to make sure if I'm approving this, I have. And it's.
The folks in the room knows what estoppel.
It's the principle which precludes a person from asserting something contrary to what is implied by a previous action or statement of that person or by a previous pertinent judicial determination. So I don't really understand what that means, but I guess it means that what we're saying we're going to do is what we're going to do. And then we're not going to later on raise a legal issue. Anyway, estoppel. Estoppel, okay.
The spelling on that? Give it to
The spelling looks fine.
To the public. How do you spell it?
Well, estoppel.
Okay.
Estoppel.
Comment on the motion that the title of this document is intergovernmental agreement to transfer tax increment revenues of the St. Helens urban renewal area to the city of St. Helens to pay a special public works loan fund. So we're not paying off anything. We're entering into a loan agreement.
Okay. So amend that motion
Yes.
then to, as John explained, and as read.
Second.
Any discussion
On the amendment, this is on the amendment.
on the amendment? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passed. Now let's go back to the John's amendment and the original motion. As read. We'll take a vote on that. And it has been moved by John. I seconded it as read.
Seconded by Topaz.
Okay. And John clarified it. And are you okay to clarify?
We voted on the amendment, yes.
So we're back to the amendment. And we're back to the original motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. And we'll go on to our next item. That would be the administrative report with the financial forecast.
Back to me again, there's a couple of slides I wanted to go over. First of all, I want to just talk about it's really nice to talking about the woes of Armstrong and how it negatively impacted the agency. It seems almost on a repeating cycle of that we formed the agency down in value because of Armstrong leaving. Now it's recovered enough that it's actually collecting increment, getting back on track. We went through, did some adjustments on amending the boundaries, taking unpack some properties out, unbuildable properties out of the district, and kind of put it back on a good path, updated our financial projections. And I wanted to show a graph of what the financial projections look like. So it'll show that is the ability to service the debt. We're entering into this loan. We begin payments 3 years after the project's completed. So it's a real favorable loan to the state that allows you to defer any payments. It just, you draw interest on the proceeds you draw down until you're done. And 3 years and 3 months after the day of completion, we so years 1 and 2 were miserable. That's purely Armstrong right there. And it the blue line represents to various solutions our financial forecast. That mid-growth scenario, highest scenario, not the lowest. It's kind of the road. And you'll see where it's tracking there out in 2, 3, and 4, and we expect it to probably not ever really catch up, but it'll track along that axis. So that is this loan, this debt service is around 800,000, and by the time we're done, we should be close to 2 million.
So the start date of the loan, just to clarify, is projected at 2027, and that's 3 years after the completion of the project. Kind of to summarize what John said. So this is the debt service schedule as proposed. And it looks like our revenues are tracking to be able to repay that.
Can you explain that jump from year 3 to year 4 just one more time in actuals?
It is, and the financial, that's exactly what the financial forecast was as well. It is,
A big jump there.
there was an amendment in year 2, so that changed some of it.
Okay.
And
The biggest jump though is St. Helens Place Apartments.
Okay.
That coming online was a huge boost for the urban renewal revenues.
Grocery outlet, the veterinary clinic, the Greystone,
Yep, Greystone Estates will
Yeah.
continue because those occupancies were granted this past year. So it's looking good over the next few years that Greystone Estates will be coming online. Popeyes will be coming online. Yeah, our amendments are working is basically what this means. All of that due diligence we had when we were looking at year 2, looking at what our forecast was at 355 or year 3 and saying, oh, we're at 50,000, we need to do something. We're not gonna be able to fund our projects.
Right.
All of that good work back then is paying off now.
8 places I didn't leave over by the junior high, Hatfields.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other smaller projects that are coming online. Yeah.
Good.
So I had. It says notes, the totals on the bottom are cumulative. Does that mean both for the forecast and the actuals? Those are cumulative.
Yeah, so that was a note by Matt. These are cumulative.
Right, so both, so that includes not just the actuals at the bottom, but the forecast and the actuals.
Just so you guys
What
know.
he means by the bottom
I
are
didn't get
cumulative.
I think that's
Okay.
right, Patrick. I think so.
All right, okay, that makes sense. And then
copies, so.
what's the difference, then it says the U4 revenue estimate. $707,000, how is that estimate different from forecast? That
we're in the middle of a fiscal year.
okay, because the forecast, so that
That's the
includes
revenues received to
what's
date.
going on between the 3 and the 4 over there, okay, I see that with the revenue, that, okay. So that was the forecast for the revenue by this time of the fiscal year. Or the estimate for revenue this time this year, and then what we actually have, okay, thank you.
Any other discussion items, questions, concerns?
Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate the financial forecast and where we're at
Yeah.
in reality to back up this one.
Yeah.
There, and it seems like we're in a good place, moving along nicely and future here. So.
I think there's anyone on a committee or staff feel the need of a calendar for the rest of the year of where we're at. If we don't have a meeting, if we can get a calendar of some sort of where we're at on a monthly basis. Is that too much to ask? It is.
Yeah, because you're just projecting what it's making until we actually get an assessment from the county. The loan's not gonna change. The loan is a set amortization package.
But
It's
we're
at
tracking
point-
actuals too, right?
It's at 0.6, right? When it does finally start taking effect.
So John, for future meetings, what can the agency expect as we make expenditures? We've adopted a budget at the beginning of the year. That's been done. It's a 2-year budget. We'll have to do a consolidation at the end of the year to rectify that. Is that right? This is a good question for
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, there will be another budget meeting, but not a budget meeting.
Right. So the agency will meet again to see where we're at the end of the year. Is that, or the end of the fiscal year?
Yeah, if you have it, I guess that's up to the agency board, what they want to do with it about that. The, taxes come in mostly, big lumps. And then that's the revenue for the most part. There's other pay taxes there.
What's the closing date or official date of taxes? It's November something, and after that, we really couldn't get a halfway decent number till November.
Are we fiscal? Are we fiscal?
We are,
We're gonna dovetail with the city?
Yeah.
We're fiscal.
In like July,
You know, the money's coming into the county, that,
I see, residential.
that's, the question is, when do the monies that are coming in get accounted?
I know in the past Matt has given an update in November, so you're right on that, yeah. I don't know how often throughout the year we also get additional payments though.
We really don't. We get the county assesses at the end of the October. It says pay by such and such date for a reduced fee. And that's our tax increment. Any set, it's all regulated through the county.
So my concern is that to keep abreast of that situation, of those situations like that, that possibly we need something on as a calendar that this group can look at and anticipate when we'll be meeting and anticipate what the issues are. Is that possible for staff to help out on that?
most certainly is the next touch points are most likely going to be centered around exclusive or the negotiating agreement with the developer that goes after the selection process. We enter into discussions with them. There could be interactions with the agency to make the transaction more favorable. And we'll know that when it happens.
Okay.
And
Well, I've had stuff on.
Well, I think it would be a great idea for some type of economist like Independence did, and I've stated this the whole time, to actually improve the return on investment, so we're not stuck up here trying to figure all that out. And just because I think it's very vitally important to be modest with the numbers and prove to the citizens why you are doing, the urban renewal is doing what they're doing, instead of just because of it's the way it works. So Independence did that. I really think that we need to model that. I've been saying that for quite some time, and sooner than later is better. And if that gets paid for through the urban renewal, so be it. That person.
modeling theoretical things versus actual proposals is value in something actual.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're thinking we should
but
wait until after.
Until we have a proposal to
Riverfront,
evaluate, yeah.
yes.
yes. But you still have to project a model. You can't just go, what I'm saying is, they're proposing to build, let's say Jane and Jennifer back there are gonna wanna build a building down here. They wanna approach the city and buy a lot from the urban renewal, but we wanna pay this much. Because we really want to, it's gonna cost us, we're going out on a limb, we're gonna invest $10 million into this building. We want you to help us out with tying in some of the infrastructure here, or we want it for this value because your return on your investment over the tax increment, and not only that, it's gonna have a restaurant on the roof, and we're gonna have jobs. We're gonna have income, tax income that's gonna feed the urban renewal. Everything plays into effect on that ROI. And that's the way Independence modeled it. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to say I'm smarter than anybody. I'm just going after the way they did things. And it worked. And they were modest with those numbers. Nobody could step in and say, that's a bunch of crap, you're liars. Nobody could do that because they were Their projected numbers were modest.
I mean, I would be interested in seeing what that looks like, what the, if we can get that from independents to see what that looks like, exactly what the economist.
It's just about timing. Once we've structured a deal with the developer, we can do a study that would prove the return on investment of the Urban Renewal Agency's investment with that deal. But
Well, we
to
don't
John's point, we need the details of the
Well, we
development.
don't wanna tie up to a developer specifically without at least an idea.
Oh, yeah, but like you
We're
said,
not tied up in
you knew
property.
all about Jane and Jennifer's building. We don't know that yet, so we need to know what the
Oh,
building is.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We
exactly.
need to know what the building is before we can do the return on investment
You
study.
guys are gonna hit the lottery.
Short on that, Jim.
That was just hypothetical.
Restaurant too.
There you go.
Will we have any opportunity to ask questions?
Well, it's kind of too late for that, because we
We're
actually
not
have
hearing it.
another meeting. to
Um,
go to.
Visitor comments, are you gonna be here for regular sessions?
Yeah, you can do it then.
Pass this down to
Why, you have to.
Oh, she's, is that the gavel?
Ready, passing the gavel.
Jessica.
Good answer.
Vice Chair.
Sharing the duties.
Screenshot there.
I'm going to pass the gavel to the vice chairman and run the rest of the meeting now. So we're down to adjournment, so.
Thanks, John.
Okay, whatever you care to do, you've got it. Point.
Okay. Anything else for